Hello, Profile C. You guys that like to do things right, the correct way. You like organization, you like detail. You also have to work with people that are different than you. And sometimes you do have to deal with people that are a D-type personality, whether it's a colleague, whether it's a supplier, or whether it's a client. So what is the strength? Well, both of you share a similar bent towards accomplishment. You like things done. The difference though is that the D-type likes to do things done fast and sometimes their way, and then the quick way, the fast way, where on your side you like to do things right. There's a certain way, a certain process to do things that makes sense in your head, and sometimes that's the problem. So you like to analyze things where the other person, they have an idea, they just do what needs to be done to some work, some activities to analyze, but really quickly their ideas, and then they just do it. They just make the decision. Sometimes the decision is made in your sense too fast. So that's the struggle. So how do we work well? Because actually you are a good complement. So it's important to accept the fact that D-type person, they need to have some control and the ability to take some action. They like to feel that their idea was good, and then they took action and are in control of that. So you want to allow this person to take decision. They like to make risk as well, and maybe you don't like to make risk. You like to really calculate the risk. You want to allow that person to think things through. Help that person to think things through. You don't want to criticize and expect perfections. You have to be. It's important to understand that everybody will not have the same standard and the same expectation as you do. Even if you like things done, and if you like you are goal oriented and result oriented, it may not be done exactly the same way, and that's okay. That's fine with that. So you have to realize that it's fine. The pace here will be different. Where one is more fast-paced, you need the time to think over things, then you just express it. You can express, okay, give me the time, okay? Would you allow me to, think about this, okay? Or you may ask the question. So yours, your strength to ask the question, how about this? Did you think about this? So you are using your strength to help the person think a little bit more than just act quickly. Sometimes you do have to work with I-type personality. Your strengths balance each other. Actually, you are the opposite. When you look at the circle, it's completely the opposite. But actually, one's strength is the other person's weaknesses. So your discipline and your logic is your strength, and it's the weakness of the I people, where their outgoing personality, social skills, and thinking of people will be, and having fun and a little bit of flexibility as well, and spontaneity. It will. That's something that they can show you and teach you. Now the struggle will be that opposite. So you'll have a person that likes to talk a lot, outgoing nature, and you on the opposite side, you like to think. You're more cautious, you're more analytical, less social. So it's important that you understand that your standard may not be as high for you as for this person. So it's important that you understand that and you accept that. And it's important that you don't withhold praise. You want to praise and to give that person what she needs in order to perform, especially if she's a colleague and you're the leader and she's working with you. As a client, you really want to take the time to acknowledge and let the person talk about. If that person needs to talk about a story, talk about her family, or talk about a situation, give that person the time to talk about it. So other strategies is that to modify your expectations of this person. Realize that you are attention to details, so you will see things that person will not see, and that's okay. So then you just want to make sure that you have each other's responsibility that are according to your strength. So maybe you want to do the final checkup of a project, for example, where the other person will start the project, will give the idea, will put the idea on paper, will use her creativity, because that person has that profile has a lot of creativity. So you want to use each other's strengths in order to move forward to the result or the project or whatever is needed. What is the strength as well that will help is that you are a good listener. Well, that person likes to talk, so that's awesome. So you want to let her express herself and listen to with enthusiastic. So the pace is also is a difference here. So you want to demonstrate a little bit of dynamic and a little bit of enthusiasm towards that person when that person has a story to tell you or things like that. You also have to work with S-type personality. So the strength is that both of you like to take things slowly. You both enjoy a low-key relationship, and you are well comfortable with silence. That's fine. And conflict will not be really frequent between a S and a C. Now, the struggle is that you may become frustrated when this person does not appear to think things through the way you do or share the same enthusiasm for key details. You have to understand that this person is feeling oriented, so you may come across as cold and insensitive for that person. So be aware of your focus on doing tasks correctly versus that other person's focus on peace and security in a relationship. So you want to be more warm and show interest on that person and show sensitivity towards the person, especially when you have to work with the person. Also when you're dealing with a client, for example. So you want to take the time to ask about, how was your weekend? How's if they talk to you about a story about their family, so you want to ask questions. Take the time to ask questions about their family or their situation. They will like it. It will feel to them that you do appreciate them, that they are they are important to you. Okay, so it's important that you being as a task oriented understand as well that behind a task or beside a task, let's put it this way, there's a person. Understand as well, and do not push that your standard be as high for the other person as you. Okay, you have to you can have your own standard. You can be clear of your expectation, but at the same time understand that this is your strength to look at details and see things that other people don't see. So don't request as they see things the same way as you. Sometimes you will have to work with same type as you, a C-type personality. So this is fine. So you're both focused on a project and details and quality, That's awesome. Now, when can be a struggle is that when you both disagree on what is right. So, what is the right way? Because your way of doing things may be different than the other person right way of doing things. So that could be the struggle. At some point, what you have to do about that, so you have somebody has to be flexible. Flexible about you can talk over and maybe take some of their ideas and then some of yours and then combine it together. But the thing not to do is to be critical. Or to tell that person that no, this is not right, no, this is wrong, no, this is not the way to do this. Okay, you have to understand that in your head it works exactly the same way. You feel that there's one way to do it, and there's a standard to follow and a procedure to follow, but the other person thinks exactly the same way. There's a certain standard to follow and there's a certain procedure to follow. So at some point you're going to have to come to an agreement. Okay, so that could be the struggle. So you want to come back to what is expected, what is the result that you're looking for, what is the goal, because you have to start with a common goal, and then talk things through to get to the best process. So both of you have good ideas, so you can work things through together so you can come up with the best recipe. So that could be a challenge, but at the same time, it is both of you is going to have to make effort to be flexible. I think that's the key word, to be flexible in the right way of doing things. So what is important is to understand that everybody is different. Everybody is right in their way. Now, recognize that we all have strengths. So we can, it's better to use our strength to help another person instead of pushing the other person to develop our strengths. So it's a lot easier that everybody work most of the time in their strength and then rely on other people for what is a weakness for them. So recognize who you are and recognize who the other person is or are as well.